We're going to discuss the Qualtrics DS dashboards updates. We have mentioned this a few times, so this shouldn't be new news to you, but I do want to make sure we articulate it again, and that's the purpose of this particular information, and Jade will go in a deeper dive for this. What is happening? We considered the first round of dashboards as a pilot program. I'm going to be totally honest, we stretched Qualtrics. I mean, we use DX at a full potential, and they have made some enhancements. And with those enhancements, made us kind of want to restructure Qualtrics dashboards as we're using it now for DX. And so with that, we decided to kind of reinvent that slightly different. We have currently 2 dashboards that you currently have access to, which is what we call the pilot program. You have the Iowa Online Feedback Dashboard and the Iowa Digital Experience Analytics Dashboard. Who has access to these dashboards? I do want to pause for a second here. This is very important. All agency managers are the only ones that have access to these 2 dashboards that we're currently going to remove access, but we're still keeping that same concept that agency managers are the only ones that have access to the dashboards. So that's just something that we consider. But again, the main reason is we made enhancements. Qualtrics has made enhancements. And so this pilot program is ending. The data is not going away. We just made a new and improved dashboard, which Jade will talk more about. So again, agency managers will lose access to the old dashboards tomorrow. And then you're going to have access to, you should have access to, let me restate that, you should have access to the dashboards 2.0. So this has already been discussed for quite some time now, like I mentioned. So you should have access to the dashboard 2.0. If you don't, feel free to add in the chat and I can work through that when I have a minute. But you should be able to see the Iowa DX dashboard 2.0 as long as you, and I'm assuming everybody on this call, falls under the agency manager role. So, and then you should only have access to your websites that you are an agency manager of. So there are some caveats to be aware of. Questions that you might have is you're going to lose access. That doesn't mean if for some reason you need something from that old dashboard, which I don't think you will. It's not like we're removing it and deleting it. Again, the keyword says lose access. We just don't want to cause confusion. We want you to use the new and improved, and that is the goal. And Jade will give you all the bells and whistles of why the new dashboard is new and improved. So how do you find it? Just a kind of quick, you're always going to find that CX tile within Qualtrics or in your login.io.gov. Once you get there, you're going to click on Qualtrics. Just again, some of you haven't been in Qualtrics maybe for a while, so just kind of walk through those instructions. And then you're going to find the hamburger menu at the top left-hand corner, select projects, and then you're going to select dashboard shared. And then you will locate the Iowa DX dashboard 2.0. So again, all of you should have access to this, but just kind of a quick how-to. And again, Jade will kind of walk through it, but it's different for everybody, but that is the instructions on how to find it. So anyway, that's that slide. But again, here's some additional slides. You go to the hamburger menu, dashboard shared, and there's the Iowa DX dashboard 2.0. Again, if you're having access problems within this group, just feel free to put it in the chat and I can work through it on the back end. But for normal processes, we do strongly encourage to go through the Service Desk Plus request and process that, and we will get you set up. Again, only agency managers, and again, for your only websites that you should have access. I do want to kind of just point out, we have actually gotten kudos on our great resources from other entities such as the Navy and other people, federal government and state government. We have amazing resources. And so we just want to make sure you understand that other states are using our resources regarding our Qualtrics DX. So I just encourage you to use the same. We have funnels and heat maps and other resources that are out there for you. So again, I know time is a very valuable resource that some of us don't have, but I do want to make sure you know you are supported and there is additional help out there for you when you have a minute to breathe.
Dashboards that we've shared with this specific account, DXA demo, test, that sort of thing. But the specific dashboard that we're looking at is this Iowa DX dashboard 2.0. You should all have access to this dashboard once it's shared with your accounts and your brands. And it's already done the work to basically identify the users and the websites that you have access to and filter that information down. So if I come into this Iowa dashboard 2.0, one of the main differences you'll see is that instead of, as mentioned, having two separate dashboards, you're now going to have one dashboard and two separate pages within that dashboard. To talk a little bit high level, not go too far into the weeds about what we've done, as mentioned, our previous pilot dashboards were split out and separated because of the way that Qualtrics ingest data, specifically survey data and DXA data or the frustration signal data. That was kind of just the easiest way that we were able to give you the data that we wanted you to be able to have access to. We wanted you to play around with. We wanted you to be able to see and ingest and action on the data that was coming from your websites. But the work to kind of marry that data to stand up the back end to make sure that you all had the access and the visibility that you needed was still in progress as we were building that out. And so we were working with our team, we're working internally in order to make sure that we're able to kind of get this best case scenario for you all. And so the work that we did was basically saying, all right, we have all this data and we don't want to have them in two dashboards because it's a little bit clunky to be able to say, okay, we want to go to the Iowa online feedback dashboard and we want to go to the frustration signal, the digital dashboard, and be able to like click between the two. We want you to have that all at the click of your fingertips. We want you to have that all just kind of in one place, right? So this dashboard at its core is basically a replication of the two dashboards you had previously, just merged into one dashboard. The work was done in the back end to kind of marry that data in order to make sure that you're able to point at the frustration signals, filter down, and pull all that into one. Power of the CX dashboards, as mentioned in several other trainings, is the ability to pull in multiple sources and compare and aggregate that data against each other. So while we currently have them split out within the pages of the solicited feedback and the digital experience analytics data, we now have the ability to say, hey, we want to pull in some of that solicited feedback data. What are they saying? What are they doing? What are they giving us the actual feedback on in that feedback tab? But we're also able to see that DXA data. We're also able to pull it in and say, were they having frustration signals within that session? Were they having any rage clicks or mouse thrashes? Or are we able to like see that information as well, right? And so we're able to pull in some more data instead of just having one versus the other. We're able to actually pull in the data points rather than just, maybe looking at the session replay itself and things like that. So that's why we did the work here. If you scroll down, this should all be familiar to you. This is basically a one-to-one replication. You'll notice that this is Agency Sandbox, so there's not a lot of data here. We didn't do a lot of work within the sandbox to actually get feedback data. But if I come to digital experience data, we should have some information there, right? You see number of sessions, number of frustration signals, frustration signal behavior. We've also updated some of these graphs, the visibility of the graphs, basically saying, all right, do we see any rage clicks? Do we see any error clicks? And also how many pages were visited on this one? And then we also have frustration signal over the last 180 days, and then showing kind of the peaks and valleys. You can kind of see where the weekends were, where people are coming in less, or where we're testing less in this case, because this is the Agency Sandbox. This is our training account. And so these are just kind of the information that we had here. You can filter by website name. In this case, it's just going to be Sandbox because that's the only kind of website that we have access to within this account. If you are the manager of several different websites, maybe like DOT and DOM, something like that, if you have access to multiple different brands, you should have the ability to filter to multiple. This filter is locked, so it basically tells you what is it that you have access to. You may have one, you may have three, but if you want to specifically filter down to the pages that you have interest in, if you have more than one, you should have the ability to filter here. We also have the ability to filter to specific URLs. In this case, we only worked within the dxsandbox.iowa, but you should have multiple URLs depending on what site they were navigating to, where they were on your website, date and time, X, Y, and Z. So again, this is a very high level demo.